What is up, guys? Just a quick walk and talk from me today, because I don't have an awful lot of time to be sat editing and writing and all that stuff. But I just want to share some thoughts about some of the latest numbers, stats that are coming out of the Israel-Gaza situation. So I'm not sure if you're fully across this, but here is the situation as I'm led to believe it from UK media at the moment. 5,700 people are now thought to be dead off the back of the Israeli military response to the original Hamas attacks. And as I understand it, the original attacks on Israel killed, it was in the hundreds, I think, 500 Israelis, was it? And then a further 200 kidnapped, I think, and taken back to Gaza. So I think it was like maximum sort of 1,000 or so. But now the response to that militarily is 5,700. And that is, just think of that in terms of a proportion of the Gaza population. Like, what is it? It's like 1 million, 2 million people live there. So if you think of it as a proportion of that, 5,700, everyone's going to know someone who's been impacted by this military response. Everyone's going to have a story about, oh yeah, that guy down the road, his daughter was blown to pieces. Or it will be their brother or the teacher at their school. Everyone's going to be affected by this. And here's my question for you guys is, what do we think is actually being achieved here? What is the actual strategic goal that's being realized through this bombing campaign? Because here's, do we think that these 5,700 people are supposed to be terrorists, are they? We think it's just very fortunate that every time somebody's died off the back of one of these bombs or this reported ground invasion, we're supposed to believe that this was all Hamas, that they've just killed Hamas people? Really? No, it's going to be people like you and me and your brother and your barber and the guy that works in the shop down the road. And here's the messed up thing, is like, I can see where this is headed, and I'm not even smart. I'm just some idiot who does IT and makes a few videos on the side. But even I can see where this is headed. And where it's headed, the end game, what will actually be achieved by this, bear in mind, there's no strategic goal. They're not getting rid of Hamas or anything. Where it's actually headed is you're going to end up seeing like the rise of another, an ISIS or another Hamas or another Al-Qaeda, or, because what's going to happen is people who are affected by this, who've seen their kids blown to pieces, they're not just going to shrug and go, oh, well, it's always happening, bloody Israel. Anyway, let's just carry on. No, they're going to cling on to the hate and the need for revenge. And then they're going to form a new Al-Qaeda or a new ISIS, and they're going to strategize and plan. And here's the wild thing, is it's going to be people like you and me who are just going about our days, who have seen this stuff on the news, who have said, no, this is not okay. You can't fucking do it. What are you doing? It's going to be people like you and me who are going to pay the price for it. Because we're going to be packing up our kids one day in 2 or 3 years, once this is all blown over, and we're going to be heading up to London for a day out or a matinee at the theatre with the kids. Oh, you're going to love this. It's the new Mickey Mouse musical. And you're packing up your kids, you're wrapping them up warm. Maybe it's a pantomime. And you go into the theatre and you're like, yeah, just to 3 and then boom, the whole place gets blown up. And then some terror cell will claim responsibility for it, and it will all date back to now. Because we, the British state, not, sort of royal we, right? We propped up another state who went ahead with this bombing campaign. And because our elected officials went on record and said, oh, we stand shoulder to shoulder, and yes, you've got a right to defend yourself, and, because of the actions of our elected officials and our state, it doesn't matter how much people like you and me go on YouTube and we say, this is not okay. You're not all you're doing here is killing civilians and further radicalizing other people. This is not okay. You don't speak for us. What's going to happen is it's still going to be people like you and me who are going to get blown to pieces for this. And so just to bring it back to my original question, what is actually being achieved by this? What is the end goal? What is the strategic win here for anyone? Because as far as I can see it, all that happens is they've conducted this bombing campaign. They're killing, murdering innocent people, and the cycle will continue. That's all I can see happening here. And as I say, I'm not even a smart guy, and I can see where this is headed. And you know what? It does wonders for my imposter syndrome, because for decades I've been thinking, oh, I'm not good enough to do this, or people are going to figure me out that I'm an idiot, really. But actually, I look at the people who are in charge now and I'm like, God, if this is the caliber of person that's leading us, like maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm some sort of genius.